Genesis is launching in Europe soon with an all-new variant of the G70, and guess what? We won't be getting it stateside. Also, the product stack for the entire Genesis and Hyundai lineup has been revealed to us. We'll take a stab at that today. And also, Toyota is not making any sense as they crush profits, while others like Nissan and Subaru seem to be struggling. Over at the Genesis media page, Genesis previews the G70 Shooting Brake for the European market. This thing looks pretty darn slick, and go figure. We're not getting it here in the United States, but I still think it's worth talking about because it's so cool. And if they did bring it here to the United States, I think it would help sales. The G70, the G80, the G90 are all getting outsold by the GV80, so it wouldn't hurt to bring it to the United States, but we can hope, we can keep our fingers crossed for something this cool. And we just don't have a lot of wagons or shooting brake sort of vehicles to compete against the limited amount of Germans here in the United States that have those sort of vehicles, or Volvo even has one. Buick used to. Buick doesn't compete on this level. They're saying the model will go on sale in Europe, showing clear dedication to the region. Again, like I said, not in the United States, but it could be coming in South Korea. That would be pretty interesting. Or even China, because they just launched in China. That was a really big ordeal there. The news follows the company's recent announcement that it'll launch in Europe this summer. They're expanding quickly. China, the biggest luxury market in the world, now has Genesis. They're not scared of entering Europe. I mean, Europe's a tough market for outsiders. Look what happened to Infiniti. They're gone. Acura's like, we're not even going to do that. We're not even going to try it. Lexus has slowly been gaining a little bit of market share, but they're still super small in the European market. It'll be interesting to see what Genesis is capable of doing. They're able to partition out a small corner of the European market so that they can be successful there and prove that they're a viable option alongside the traditional German luxury brands. In terms of luggage, it is 40% larger than the G70 sedan, and its rear seats can be split folded into a versatile 4-2-4 format. When viewed from the side, the combination of the single-piece glass hatch that extends to the rear and the floating type integral spoiler creates a unique impression to the exterior that communicates the G70 Shooting Brake's athletic intent. So they're saying the G70 Shooting Brake is the 5th Genesis model to arrive in Europe. So we have the G80, the GV80, the G70, the GV70, and then we have the G70 Shooting Brake. The G90 has been left out of the equation for now. Maybe it's because there should be a redesign coming in the next couple of years. And the powertrains, I'm guessing, should be the same as a normal G70. It would be nice to have the upgraded larger powertrains. We're going to get a 2-liter turbocharged engine with 254 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, as well as a 3.3-liter twin turbocharged V6 with 365 horsepower and 376 pound-feet of torque. Those are the same engines as the outgoing G70, the one that looks okay, but this new one looks really, really slick. And we're going to shift gears real quick over to car scoops. Genesis to launch electric GV70 and Ioniq 6 in 2022. We knew about the Ioniq 6, but the GV70 electric, we haven't even been shown this vehicle yet. We've heard rumors, but it's supposedly coming next year. So we're just going to scroll on down to this diagram, or this roadmap essentially that Hyundai gave us during the investor presentation. So 2020 is over. Looking at 2021, the Staria. Please, Hyundai, bring it to America. We need more minivans. I know it's not as big of a market as it used to be, but it's continuing to grow, believe it or not. The Kia Carnival. Kia, if you're listening, send that vehicle to me. I just reviewed the Honda Odyssey and the Toyota Sienna. I want to see what else is out there on the market. The Staria looks like a star. Huh. Oh, okay. Anyways, new CUV and i20 CUV. We're not going to get the i20 CUV. And it's hard for me to imagine another new CUV in the Hyundai lineup because they're so saturated. I just don't know what this vehicle could be. See you guys in the comments on what you think that might be. The next up is the Avante N, which is the same thing as the Elantra N, I believe. So that should have the 2-liter turbocharged inline 4, like we just talked about on the G70. Maybe a little bit more horsepower, and it will be definitely 8-speed dual clutch is pretty much confirmed, but hopefully they give us a manual transmission on that. Then we're talking about Genesis. I talked about the G90 just a second ago, how it hasn't been announced for Europe, but maybe it's because the G90 redesign is supposed to come out in 2021, by the end of 2021. We're also going to get a G80 EV. Now, that was already announced during the Shanghai Motor Show. but I don't expect it to come to the United States anytime soon anyways. Now this EV here is going to be the same as the Ioniq 5, the same as the Kia EV6. Always throws me off. They're like the same car, but they had to choose different numbers. Why confuse me? But this is going to be the same sort of vehicle, and you better expect that it's going to have crazy horsepower numbers like the Kia EV6. And the G70 will be coming out this year as well. And eco-friendly, we know we're getting the Ioniq 5 this year. Their battery supplier for the Ioniq 5, which was SK Innovations, finally struck a deal with LG Chem to be able to produce batteries here in the United States, because they pretty much were going to be banned from the United States, SK Innovations, because they stole trade secrets from LG Chem. So they handshook on a deal, and SK Innovation is going to be handing over billions of dollars to LG Chem in the near future, just so that they can produce batteries here in the United States for these Ioniq vehicles and other brands as well. Looking at 2022, I believe the iX35 is the European equivalent to the Tucson, so they will be getting that in 2022. Here, we will be getting a Palisade refresh. So maybe that's what FL means. Don't know what that would stand for exactly, but maybe that means refresh here. The Grandeur is the same as the Azera, and that's been gone for a few years here in the United States. And then we'll be getting a Sonata refresh, hashtag Albagre. El Saludo as well, because it looks like a catfish. So if they can make it a little bit less catfish, I'm okay with that. But that's a part of its identity. I actually don't mind it rocking that ugly catfish front end. Like, oh shoot, that's a Sonata. You know exactly when you see the front end of the Sonata. GV70 EV will be coming after the Genesis crossover, so it'll be very interesting to see how that vehicle differs. You know, it's going to be very similar in size and practicality. So would you guys be more interested in GV70 EV or a Genesis variant of the Ioniq 5? Makes you wonder, right? It's like, there's just so many options out there. And then when you talk about pricing is going to be quite interesting as well, because the Kia with the 500 and some horsepower Kia, that's probably going to be like $50K. How much is this Genesis CUV going to be with the same power? $70K? And then what is the GV70 EV going to be? $65K? I just don't know. I like that they have plenty of products. It will be interesting to see how it all pans out in their lineup and how sales work. Now, these eco-friendly cars, I don't expect any of them to come to the United States, but man, we got a very busy lineup coming for Hyundai, Genesis, not only in the United States here, but all across the world. And we're going to change gears. Toyota shrugs off pandemic and chip shortages. Quarterly profit nearly doubles. We're over automotive news. North America's regional business swung back to an operating profit in the last quarter after posting an operating loss the year earlier. The world's biggest automaker said the net income more than doubled to over $7 billion in the January through March quarter alone. And looking at the year before, it wasn't even $3 billion. Toyota knows how to make money. Revenue increased 11% to almost $70 billion in the 3-month period as worldwide sales advanced 5% to 2.21 million vehicles. If you guys remember last year, Toyota reclaimed its #1 spot as the largest automaker in the world. So the growth in America was 5%, while in Europe it was even larger at 11%. Now you can still see that the American market for Toyota is more than double than the European market, but they continue to grow in Europe. And like I said earlier in this video, Lexus continues to grow as well in Europe. How are they making so much money? Well, they got a big boost from cost reduction, as well as from higher volume and a better mix of more profitable vehicles. I wonder what those more profitable vehicles would be. I'll see you guys in the comments on what you think those would be. Maybe the Lexus GX? That vehicle's research and development had been paid off about a decade ago. 4Runner as well. So yeah, they got a lot of vehicles that they're probably just making a ridiculous amount of money on. If we look at the other Japanese automakers, this is a nice nugget I didn't expect to see in this article. Subaru, like I mentioned yesterday, reported that its full fiscal year operating profit plunged by half. Mitsubishi slumped into the red for the full year. The red ink at partner Nissan Motor Corp expanded the company's biggest operating loss ever in a single year that I'm aware of. Honda reports its earnings May 14th, has projected an 18% slump in the fiscal year operating profit. So definitely check back, as I will give you those numbers as well. Mazda reports the same day, which means May 14th. They're thinking that its full year operating profit is expected to plunge 80%. 10%. Whoa. Now, Toyota's looking at this current fiscal year now. They're predicting that the rebound in global sales will underpin a 14% increase in operating profit and drive a modest 2.4% increase in parent company net income. Now, you gotta also remind yourselves of all of the chip shortages that are happening. So yeah, even if the sales demand is there, hopefully they can keep up with production volume to meet the demand and sell a bunch of vehicles. Now, Toyota expects its revenue to reach near record levels, $272 billion, just shy of an all-time $274 billion in the fiscal year ended in 2019. Will be interesting to see if they're able to pump out enough cars to make enough money to get closer to $300 billion in a year. That's just ridiculous. And lastly, Toyota Canada resumes production after COVID outbreak at key supplier. That was at their Toyotetsu plant, I believe. So they had to cease production of their massive sellers here in the United States, RAV4, RAV4 Hybrid, Lexus RX, and RX Hybrid due to parts shortage. You got to remember the RX 350L, 450HL are still produced in Japan. But that's good news for their predictions on making a lot of money this year. And guys, I'm going to end it there. A lot of exciting news for Hyundai, especially Genesis. Can't wait to review some of their cars. And guys, I'll leave it there. Toyota knows how to make money. It's kind of scary how well they're doing in these crazy times, and all their like competitors or even their subsidiaries are struggling from Japan. So it will be interesting to see where this goes from here. Guys, I'll end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more Japanese and Korean news. Smash the like button if you haven't. I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you so much. Peace out.